How folks, how's it going? Curious UK here. So this is my nomination video in which I had nominated Pete and Peter and Pete, whatever, also known as Pete or Repeat, for top left. So let's get into it. Let me show you why I believe they deserve to win top left for 2026.
Less technique or chemistry? Peter, you're right. Our flat earth bond is the curve we've been missing.
Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting flirt dreams.
Let's just clarify. Top left is on the Dunning-Kruger scale, and it's when you know absolutely nothing about a subject, but you're so deluded you think you know more than experts or anybody else. Okay, so one of my things, the one thing about Peter and Pete I've noticed, and this is a common thing, not only are they flat earthers, that they believe the earth is flat, even to the point where they go and do like the street activism. They stand with signs and a table in the middle of their town center and try to preach the flat earth cult ideology. There's a couple of shots from the local town vlog, I guess, and they just made on a couple of websites just to mention they're kind of a bit of a local joke, I guess.
Hello, good morning, people of Chester. I could say friends, countrymen, ancestrians, lend me your ears. Now, I'm here yet again to let everybody know that, or just to remind people, I guess, that we're living in the year 2017, that's 2017, okay? We're living in a society where we've got lots of developments in technology, we've got cars, we've got telephones, we've got the internet, we've got computers, we've got lots of things. Hello, how are you doing? Good, really.
Where's the curve?
I mentioned the curve.
But also Peter and Pete deny most of science, and they think that they know better, even to the point where they say in pretty much every single one of the shows that water does not contain hydrogen and oxygen. They say water doesn't contain H2O, and that it's not made of those particular molecules. Now, even though this has been proven demonstrably and empirically, they deny all the evidence of science. They also don't believe that we inhale oxygen, that we exhale carbon dioxide. And they see this quite a bit, even when presented with evidence to show how you can measure what we breathe out, they deny it. So there's many examples they have, which they actually go on to like other channels that do scientific experiments, and they jump in the comment section and start spouting how that person got everything wrong. Even people who are like maybe physicists, professors and stuff like that. So I've got a few examples. There's too many for me to put into a video for this, in which I will show you a few times in which they have said stuff, so that you know they have credibility to what I'm claiming, and to show some of the claims that they like to make. Let's get into it. Alright, so one of the first things I'm going to put up here, and there's so much that these guys have, I couldn't fit it, I don't think, into a video here. I only have a limited time. So one of the claims they've been making, and this is fairly recently, is that they think that mass is force. So they think that anything of the mass is force, not momentum, not inertia, not gravity, nothing like that. Mass, only the mass. So if everything, how do they put it? You have to see this. It's kind of something like they say mass is the force, not, which doesn't make any sense. Mass isn't actually a force. Mass is the amount of matter within a material or within an object, and it can directly influence some of the forces that object can impart. So like either resistance to motion, which is then a force, which is resistance, or inertia, which inertia obviously is the resistance to stop from motion, and obviously the object with more mass, and if you have more mass and weight, the imparts you have more force that can be applied by that object. But mass itself is not a force, it's only the amount of stuff that's within something, and it's not actually related to weight. Now a lot of flat earthers get weight and mass mixed up. Weight is literally the measurement of the gravitational effect on an object or on a mass. So it's how hard the gravitational field is pulling it, applying to it, and it's a measurement is what weight is. But flat earthers get this wrong all the time. I'm pretty sure Pete and repeat and call them that. I get this wrong all the time. So let's just see what they have to say. Quite funny.
Mass equals force.
Yes, mass equals force. A lot of people would deny this, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would say that mass doesn't equal force because a falling object, for example, is being pulled by this force called gravity.
Right.
So the mass isn't the mass is irrelevant to the motion of the object.
Well, I think before we go to that, you've got to define what you mean by force.
Well, I suppose you're right. Yeah, of course.
And what do you mean by a mass?
Well, mass is an object, a piece of matter.
Right. Okay. So we've got that. So what is a force? It would seem as though a force is a property of a mass.
Well, this is what we would say.
But then you've got mass equals force.
Mass equals force. Yeah, and mass equals force. If you have mass, they must, by virtue of mass being a force being a property of mass, by virtue of that, there has to be a force because you have the presence of mass.
Oh right. Yeah, I understand that.
In other words, whenever you have mass, that mass, one of the properties of mass, is a force.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's our view that because the flame is attached to the candle's attached to the jar,
and the
jar's
jar and the air inside is
to the
attached
box
to
or whatever. It's all a mass. It's all one mass system.
Yeah, and the mass is falling. The mass is moving.
Purely because the mass is
heavy.
It has mass.
It has mass.
Yeah.
That's why it's falling, because it's got mass.
Yeah.
Mass is the force. There's no force acting on that jar, pulling it down. Because the object itself is the force.
Yeah,
is the force.
Is the force. Yeah.
Absolutely, because if you put your head on the ground underneath it, it would hurt if it hit you.
Yeah.
So not only does Pete and repeat not believe in gravity, and they think that mass is a force, even though mass has no direction, and so it's not actually a force. In fact, it doesn't, even when you do the calculations for mass, it doesn't actually have a force applied to it. So that's really weird. Is they also don't believe in light and how on the different light spectrum. So let's have a little look and we'll see.
So what we really need is an experiment where we can form these colors from white light without a prism. And at the end of his paper, Newton suggests just such an experiment. You start with the same system you had before, and then you place a lens in the system. We start with our screen close to the lens, and we see the same spectrum we saw before. Here is the light passing through the lens, and up above it we see the light that's sort of skipping the top of the lens. As we move our screen away, the colors begin to overlap until at one point we see a band of white light. As we continue to move the screen further away, we see the same spectrum that we started with, but with the colors now reversed. As we move the screen in this experiment, there's nothing to cause this change of color that we're observing. The only thing that's changing is the overlap of the colors. So we can conclude that when we perceive this white light, what we're really seeing is a whole bunch of colors added together. Now it turns out that you don't actually need all of these colors to trick your eyes into seeing white. If you're watching this on a TV screen or a computer screen at home, what you're seeing as white is actually a combination of red, blue, and green. But for our purposes, we're seeing the sum of all the colors in the input spectrum.
Yeah, so what the guy's saying, we're seeing all the colours in the input spectrum. Now that's an assumption.
That is, yeah.
That is just an assumption. That is a hypothesis to explain the observation, that is. And it doesn't, what Newton did there on that second part didn't really address what's going on in the prism. Didn't do it at all, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I was going to mention was that when he was talking about trying to, because he was saying that it didn't prove anything.
Oh, sure.
So it would be an idea to do something that didn't involve the prism, and yet his very setup involves the prism.
Yeah,
he's not taking the actual prism out of the equation.
Yeah, but we're still relying on this prism, he says, to make these colours. What we really need is an experiment where we can form these colours from white light without a prism.
And yet he's still using the prism.
Yeah, and yet he still uses the prism to produce the spectrum. Yeah. So this certainly doesn't cut the cake doing this, because underneath all those colours is white light.
Absolutely.
Underneath all the colours you see on the board there is white light.
Yeah.
You know, this is the problem. How on earth can anybody say that white light is underpinned by white light is comprised of all of these colours? These colours exist in white light. How can they?
Well, they can't prove it.
I mean, it's a great
Again, it's another hypothesis.
Another hypothesis that requires testing. And at the end of the day, the trouble with science is that people they make an observation in the natural world, as Newton did in this demonstration, and he come up with the idea that coloured light underpins white light. Okay, it's a great idea. Okay, it's a good hypothesis to account for the observation. But what did Newton do? What did Newton do to test that hypothesis? He didn't do anything.
All he did was complicate his experiment to convince other people.
Yep.
See, even with them seeing a demonstrable and empirical demonstration of how light works, and that the white light that's going through the prism is being refracted into separating those colors out, the primary colors that are in light, they deny it. They deny it because it doesn't fit their narrative of what they think they believe and what they think they know. They don't know it. They're actually complete idiots and stupid. And even with staring them straight in the face, and even showing them when he put that lens there, that half lens, and moving the target away, I can see how those colors went straight back into the white light, and then as you moved it further away, then the colors were inverted compared to the top, so then they are the same colors, but in the opposite way. They still denied it, even though it showed that demonstration actually showed that light, how that light contains the three primary colors that make up white light. Pete and repeat completely deny it, and it just shows the proper incredulities that they actually have. So these two are definitely top left. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but yet they're convinced that they know everything about everything, and they're 100% right, even with the evidence and demonstration staring them straight in the face, that they could actually easily go out and repeat it without problem and see exactly how it works. But they just can't accept this because they're just not quite that very smart. They're quite stupid, actually, aren't they? But let's move on. There's more that I have for this. Okay, what I'm going to show you here is just where they kind of run through some of their beliefs, and the fact is that or the stupidity and the derp that they like to spew at the beginning of most of their live streams. This is a couple of weeks ago, so this is fairly recent, and this is pretty much the same shit they seem to spew all the time. They have no facts, no evidence. They just have blind faith and delusional ideology in the flat earth cult.
And you can still be stupid.
Yeah, we're trying to bring a little bit of sanity into a world filled with insanity, of course. Yeah, because when you look at the way people act and behave, and the views and attitudes that they think are true, you can clearly tell that these people, a lot of people, have mental health problems. They suffer from delusions. Unfortunately, it's just the way things are. They think something is true, even though that something has never been proved to be true. They'll still wander around thinking it's true. Man's landed on the moon. The Earth is a ball, even though nobody's ever seen any curvature anywhere on the Earth, any reliable curvature anywhere on the Earth.
This off the beach in New Brighton. So you can see the wind turbine closer, the one's further away. You can see how the blades go below the horizon due to the curvature of the Earth. So there's another one here. These guys can see this anytime you like. This is also one from the same day. I ran down the stairs after taking the first picture. 30 seconds later, took a picture again. You can see the curvature of the Earth blocking above the boat.
And a lot of people have obviously debunked the moon landings many times in space travel. People will still think that moon landings, space travel, the Earth being a ball, are true. A lot of people.
So all those things are 100% true. No flat earthers ever been able to falsify the moon landings, and they always just not run away when it comes to observations that prove the curvature of the Earth.
That's because these people are fucked in the head. They've got mental health problems, and they won't admit it. That's the big problem. They won't admit it to themselves that they've got mental health problems.
Well, they won't admit it to themselves because they think they're right.
And
they think you have the mental health problem.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They have a superiority complex,
even though they can't prove to you that the Earth is a spinning ball.
Absolutely, of course, yes. Absolutely.
Everything they said described flat earthers to a T. Not a projection. top level.
Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, but the worst thing is that this kind of theme runs through lots and lots of topics. Politics. It runs through education. It runs through lots of climate change. Science. It runs through science. People claim that water is made of H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, and yet no one's proved it ever. Beyond all doubt whatsoever, that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. Nobody's proved it at all. Two parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. It's only a claim. It's an idea. It's a hypothesis that's never been tested fully, so that everyone knows that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. And it's just a claim and an opinion.
And that those gases from the procedure of electrolysis, those gases actually come from the breakdown of the water. And
nothing else.
And or the electrolyte.
Yeah, they've eliminated it. I've got Carlisle and his mate.
That's right.
Carlisle and his mate. Yeah, 1800, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. When they
first conducted electrolysis for the very first time. And believe it or not, they conducted the electrolytic process for the very first time and deduced that the water was being split. From the very first time, nobody had ever done it before.
But they only based that understanding on what had gone before them.
Yeah, on the fact that there was knowledge out there that water was made of hydrogen and oxygen. With Lavoisier.
There was information.
Yeah, there was information out there, yeah, sure. So they're letting information affect their perceptions on an observation.
Oh, hold on. How do we know that the water's being broken down here? I'm sure it was Anthony Carlisle.
Anthony Carlisle and William, was it William someone?
I'm not sure.
Somebody Carlisle. Just going on, have a little
how do we know that the gases are coming from the breakdown of the water in what we observe? Because they could only observe it in 1800. They didn't have the technical know-how to actually eliminate all other variables.
William Nicholson, that's the one.
William Nicholson.
William Nicholson, yeah. To discover electrolysis in May 1800s, yeah. Used the voltaic pile to pass an electric current through water, successfully decomposing it into hydrogen and oxygen. How on earth would they know that the water was being decomposed? How would they know? They've just carried it out for the very first time. And yet lo and behold, they seem to know. They seem to have this kind of like foresight, this sixth sense.
No, we obviously read up on Lavoisier, and Lavoisier came to the conclusion.
Well, he considered water to be made of hydrogen and oxygen.
No, there were chemists of the day who disagreed with him.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. And they all jumped on board, yeah.
Well, this supports that the gases are coming from the water.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just absolutely ridiculous, yeah. What people are prepared to accept as being true. Yeah. So you've got these people, Nicholson and Carlisle, who considered water to be H2O, and yet they never proved it.
Yeah.
They didn't prove it.
Yeah.
They just confirm their hypothesis. Well, all we're going to do is that we're going to confirm our idea that water's made of hydrogen and oxygen. That's all we've done.
And in our understanding, the only reason why Lavoisier came up with that understanding is because that was the next best thing at the time. Because really, they didn't know what water was.
Yeah, nobody knows what water is. That's my opinion. Nobody knows what water is. A lot of people might have some idea as to what water is, like H2O or whatever.
We can describe it, we can find names to it, we can study its properties.
Sure, absolutely. We can manipulate it.
But what water is,
well, nobody knows.
We have no clue.
Absolutely, just the same as...
it's certainly not hydrogen and oxygen.
Absolutely, yeah, that is definitely true, because it's there's so many conflicting bits of information.
Well, you can't prove that it is.
Well, nobody can prove that it is, so why state that it is? It's just ridiculous, But anyway, we're living in a world where a lot of bullshit is accepted as being true.
Yeah,
so,
anyway.
So it's not my fault, it's just the way things are, isn't it?
Anyway, come on.
So what have we got on?
Here we go. We're out in the Sahara Desert, and what we're going to do today for everyone...
We're going to test a mini nuke.
With this mini nuke to show to people how devastating it can be.
Absolutely, but there is nothing other.
You don't see it.
Absolutely, of course, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. So, we agree to a large degree that nuclear weapons are rubbish.
Because you can't have a chain reaction.
It's as simple as that. You can't have a nuclear chain reaction. It's impossible. And of course, you can't have a nuclear chain reaction. But we came across this video, which is Russia releases previously classified 1961 footage of largest ever nuclear explosion. I'm going to switch off.
It's a genuine explosion.
Do you think so?
But I don't think it's nuclear. I think there's obviously quite a lot of phosphorus.
Well, they could have put tons of phosphorus in one area, magnesium, lots of shit, and just blown it all up using dynamite or some kind of explosives. That's what they could have done.
Used the bomb to have detonated
all the explosives and all of the stuff. It could have done. None of this proves that they actually use a nuclear weapon. None of it. I want to know what this cloud here is. Why this cloud here is rising up.
Well, maybe. Let's just.
Yeah, you can see it starting to rise there. The cloud starts to rise up with it, And you think, well, why is that? Don't get that. And is this in real time or has it been speeding up?
You know, it's,
Well, it doesn't really look that big, really. When you look at it, what we're saying is that a lot of it's the effects of this explosion look huge, massive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean,
Like the clouds, the light that's produced, but the actual damage that it does
it's fuck off.
is hardly anything.
Hardly anything, yeah, it's fuck off. But yeah, I mean, I'm not big here.
Final experiment.
Yeah, final observation. 1 year on, what's changed?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it hasn't changed us.
Well, it hasn't changed us. We still consider the Earth to be a level plane. There's no curvature on the Earth at all. So why should we think the Earth is a ball? I think it's just total rubbish. But so my views haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
I mean, whose have? But let's go. Should we go and find out some of these people who went on there?
Well, let's go on the final experiments wiki page.
Wiki page now. So there we've got final experiment there. To test the validity
I like how they call it an
of flat Earth
expedition.
beliefs.
Wait, I like how they call it an expedition when they're all tourists.
Oh right, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not scientists going to somewhere unknown, because that's where you'd use the word expedition. You go into unknown territory. We're going on an expedition.
So anyway, the expedition, 3 years, Lord Duffy went. The actual expedition includes both flat earthers and globe earthers, people who accept the spherical shape of the Earth, selected to represent both sides of the flat Earth debate.
Well, no, if you're like selected to represent both sides of the flat Earth debate, no. See, when they're getting this wrong.
It's both sides of the globe Earth debate.
No, both sides of the shape of the Earth debate.
Right, the shape, yeah, it should be a shape of the Earth debate.
Yeah.
Participants, Lord Duffy and 7 content creators. 7.
Yeah. After travelling from Chile to Union Glacier Camp in West Antarctica, expedition members live streamed the Midnight Sun for several days. The participating flat earthers all admitted that the Midnight Sun was a real phenomenon.
I like that. It says here, Earth's roughly spherical shape was established by Hellenistic astronomy in the 3rd century BC and can be confirmed by many types of empirical observation. Like what? Just because you see the sun in the sky 24 hours doesn't mean to say that the Earth is
shape
a
of Earth
sphere.
can be empirically evidenced by many types of observation, ranging from just putting your mouse back
Where's
over,
that?
ranging from ground level, flight, or orbit. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen curvature.
Yeah, but what they're saying is the roughly spherical shape of the Earth can be empirically evidenced. Only evidence.
Oh right, yeah.
It's only evidence.
Oh, and they say that ships appear to go over the horizon.
That is evidence that the Earth is a globe.
No, that's only evidence to support the idea.
To support the idea the Earth is a globe. The roughly spherical shape of the Earth, the idea of a spherical shaped Earth can be empirically evidenced by many different types of observation. That's what it should read. It's only an idea. It's only the idea.
Yeah, including the appearance of distant objects on Earth's surface, lunar eclipses. Well, that's only a supposition.
No,
that's the Earth's shadow casting that.
The appearance of the moon, that's just an assumption.
Yeah.
The observation of the sky from a certain altitude, I can't see how that makes any difference.
Observation of certain fixed stars from different locations.
Observations of the sun, surface navigation, grid distortion on a spherical surface, weather systems and gravity.
But they're all ideas.
But none of these, all of these just support the idea. That's the thing, they only support the idea that the Earth is a globe.
Yeah.
That's all. None of them actually prove the Earth is a globe.
Yeah.
That's one thing you don't have in this whole page, and that is proof. We're out to prove. We're going to Union Glacier Camp when we are going to prove the shape of the Earth.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it. Yeah. It's quite clear from this information.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are still continuing their bullshit means that nobody can prove the shape of the Earth.
Oh, yeah.
So why are people fucking going on about it? So much.
Well, it says here, according to flat Earth beliefs, Antarctica is usually depicted as an ice ball. And we've heard that many times.
Yeah,
encircling the Earth. According to that model, so they're bringing in that word model, the sun should appear to rise and set each day in Antarctica and could not be observed in the sky continuously for 24 hours. But that's only on the understanding that the sun is this physical object in the sky that goes around between the tropics.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can still have an ice wall encircling the Earth and still see the sun overhead encircling Antarctica, Union Glacier Camp. Because you've got to realise that nobody knows what the Earth is.
Nobody knows what the sun is.
Nobody knows what the sky is or the stars. Nobody knows. So why is it all of these heavenly bodies, as it were? Why do they have to have a materialistic, physical kind of existence that we apply it to that? Because we apply that physical existence to the sun and to the stars.
Man lives
to the wandering stars.
Because man lives a physical existence on the Earth.
That's right. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean to say up there is physical.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. This is.
So it says there. Hence, observing the midnight sun would falsify flat Earth beliefs.
No, it wouldn't
falsify.
It wouldn't falsify flat Earth beliefs at all. all it would demonstrate is that 24-hour sun can be observed at that location.
Absolutely, of course. That's the only thing you
And
can.
there could be other explanations to account for why you can see 24-hour sun there and go travel 100,000
Sure, yeah.
miles and see the sun somewhere else.
Yeah, and yet they put their ideas as and put them forward as if they're true.
Yeah, no,
It's like they're here. It says here the midnight sun occurs when the southern hemisphere faces the sun because of the tilt of the Earth's axis, a phenomenon flat earthers deny.
But that's only an idea.
But it's only an idea. That Earth's axis,
Because they
tilt
can't prove
is-
to you that the Earth is actually tilting.
Absolutely, they can't prove that. Do you know what I mean? This is what annoys me. They put their views forward as being true, and yet there's no proof that they are true.
No.
They're just ideas.
They're just relying on their information.
Their evidence.
This is their evidence.
Yeah, because we've got lots of evidence to
the
support the
midnight-
idea.
Yeah, well, the midnight sun occurs because the southern hemisphere faces the sun due to the tilt of the Earth's axis. But I can't prove to you that the Earth has a southern hemisphere and that the Earth is actually tilted.
Yeah,
and
so-
I can't prove to you that the Earth is an actual sphere.
Yeah, so it's just an idea.
It's only an idea.
It's only an idea, people.
But
you
this
know.
is just information that I like to reel off and rely on because I like to think I like this information.
No, yeah, it's just nuts. But anyway, so there you go. So everyone knows about this didgeridoo. So let's have a little look at some of these people.
Channels.
Let's have a look at some of these channels who have been because you remember it was the final experiment. Okay,
Final, the last.
The final means the last. You know.
Yeah.
So he's got under the bus where remembering the Antarctic trip.
Yeah, anyway.
That's just music. What's past the Antarctic ice wall? I thought it's anyway.
The globe Earth model
Does one exist? Anyway, the one and only shill. Wait there. So we've got hang out. He's got hang out. I'm looking for.
I think our trip didn't happen. It did.
So you've got this. You've got
Let's
this.
discuss.
Yeah. So you've got this. You've got this here. Okay. The final experiment discussion, and that was on the 22nd of October.
Yeah.
So they're still talking about it. You know.
Yeah.
You know. This is where it's getting a little bit.
Oh,
you know.
but wasn't it the final experiment?
It was the final experiment. Should it not have proved beyond all doubt? Whatever.
Yeah, they could have all gone home. And when they were on the aircraft, they could have just gone home. There you go.
Yeah, no,
there you
yeah,
go.
sure.
Well, we did it, mate, didn't we?
Critical think. Here we go.
Oh, here we
Here's
go.
another bloke who went over there. Critical think. He might not be on there anymore. Critical think went along to
Videos, there we go.
the Union Glacier camp, didn't he?
Oh, there you go. 8 months ago was his last video.
8 months ago was his last video. One globe proof. Yeah, right, okay. That
Oh, right.
I don't know
Is he
how
still
that
alive,
proves
though?
it. Oh, right, yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, Qantas proves the globe. But what you're seeing is that he's still putting up videos that try to debunk flat Earth, that try to support their view, their idea that the Earth is a globe.
Yeah.
You know, these people can come out with anything that can support the idea the Earth is a globe. The idea.
It's only information.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. None of them are actually proving the shape of the Earth. None of them. And this is the most worrying part, you know, because they should have done. Yeah, 10 months ago. You know, I mean, he's not doing anything.
Well, you could argue maybe he's gone into retirement.
Well, maybe, yeah, but he's done the right thing, you know. You know.
Some people are adamant that the Earth is flat. Well, to us, it is a level plane.
Yeah, they cherry pick observations which seem to support their hypothesis. They cherry pick observations which seem to support their hypothesis. Well, I can't see any curvature anywhere. Does that seem to support the hypothesis? Well, not really. You know, they make false claims. E.g., you can zoom in on the ship and bring it back from over the horizon. I can understand where they.
No, I know the situation he's thinking of.
Yeah, they do not accept any evidence. He's only talking about evidence, which contradicts their point of view.
Well, what evidence? Why would you produce evidence?
Why would you want to accept any evidence? You want proof.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, but it's not evidence. It's that, a lot of it is just that ship going over the horizon, for example.
Yeah.
When they were at Salton Sea.
Yeah.
There was. Go and have a look at Google, Salton Sea.
No,
They're taking it out on a boat, going to hold it up on a boat, and they're going to determine whether that water is curving. The surface of the water is curving. There you go. Look, here we go. Look, here we go. Look.
yeah.
Now you can see that the red stripe at the bottom is slightly being obscured. Yeah, can't you?
Yeah,
See
the
that?
bottom.
Yeah. Well, this is a good example of how idiotic these people are.
Yeah.
Do we actually see any more of it?
I don't know. I reckon you do.
Oh, there we go. There we
Yeah,
go. Look,
yeah, that's bottom.
pause it.
Yeah,
Pause
that's
it.
bottom.
Now, this image, people think, yeah, there we go. Look, you can't see the bottom red stripe, but that means it's curving.
Yeah.
But hold on, you can clearly see water beyond.
So in front of the boat. beyond the boat.
Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah.
That, to me,
Which means the boat isn't on the horizon.
all that demonstrates to me is that boat is in a bit of a swell.
It's in a swell, yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. And which is...
It's just crazy that these people, these globeheads, think that, there you go, that's evidence that the Earth is curved, because we can't see that bottom stripe.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous, yeah, sure.
To me, this isn't evidence at all.
Yeah, this isn't evidence that the Earth is... So the water is curving.
No evidence
The surface
whatsoever.
of the water is curving. Anyway, so, I mean, it's just total bullshit. That is. But what else did... Well, I can't remember where we were. His dog. Got his dog there. Now, he went...
scratches his balls.
Probably licks... Well, I reckon Dave licks his dog's bollocks.
Oh, he might do it.
I do. Sure.
Yeah.
And when he's finished, he asks plan our walk, so if he wants something to go as well. But, I mean, here you go. 1 month ago, skier proves Antarctica is fake.
Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing?
Flat Earth is flummoxed by a flag.
Wow.
Okay. There you go. Elon Musk proves moon landing.
Wow. How did he prove a moon landing?
I don't know. The synced. The final experiment. Complete 24-hour sync. Part 1. 1 day ago. So even he's still on it.
But he's there to make money on his channel.
It's just ridiculous,
Faked in Alaska, we faked Antarctica by going to Alaska. Right, okay.
But, the guys...
This guy, the trouble is with these locals, they'll latch onto anything a flat earther will say and ridicule it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And if they can laugh at it, find something to laugh about it or debunk it in any way, then they'll think, yeah, we proved them wrong.
Yeah, but they're not proving the shape of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what...
In any of his videos, Dave McKeegan's videos, does he prove the shape of the Earth?
Now let's have a look. Now, proof the Earth is a globe. Now let's have a look for their title. Let's have a look for his title. Proof the Earth is a globe. Curvature seen,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Curvature witness. The entire population of Brazil witnessed curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, I know. CIA silenced Gus Grissom.
Right, okay,
Still, he's got an inside informant at the CIA.
Oh right, yeah, of course, yeah, of course.
This YouTuber. Isn't it amazing how this YouTuber's got inside information to give to you the truth about Gus Grissom?
Absolutely melting on the moon, apparently, Yeah, but where's the proof that the Earth is a ball?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Where's the proof of curvature anyway?
Yeah. Now he's going on to the Apollo moon landings.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I know, yeah.
I made a skeptic change his mind.
Really?
Proof that it was not a studio.
Oh right.
But how can he prove that?
Camera film does not work in a vacuum. By lying again, I don't know. We measured that.
The suits, but you put the suits in a vacuum.
Yeah, I know.
The suits will just.
How hard can it be? I don't know. Proves. Oh, here we go. That's proof. Flat Earth that proves the globe.
Wow.
Proves the globe. I mean, if none of these people are actually coming out with one video, which is proof.
Yeah, I know, right.
Not one of these people. Who else went on it?
McToon Live. Flat Earth debate. There you go.
Scheduled. There you go. Stream 13 days ago.
Well, that's scheduled for 16th of December.
Upcoming like Flat Earth debate. It's still on it. Even after the final experiment.
Even after they washed their hands of it. They all went home because to them they proved the shape of the Earth.
Yeah.
Flat Earth struck down in court.
I don't know. The Flat Earth embarrassment. Will the Flat Earth
struck down in court. It didn't even get to the inquiry.
That's not true. That's the one with Mikey Smith, and it was dismissed on the fact of lack of evidence. Mikey's never presented any evidence to support his claim. So Flat Earth lost or didn't even go through on that one because there's no evidence presented. Typical for Flat Earth.
They wouldn't debate it, probably.
Let's bring it on. Do you reckon you and me should have a debate with him, McToon, and we could show him up to be an idiot.
Right, these two half-wits actually trying to have a debate with MC Toon. Man, Toon and Dog Walk, both of them at the same time. And I highly doubt these two actually would go through with debating MC Toon. I have a feeling that they'd just run away and do what they did with Craig McNeil and demand that MC Toon pay them £10,000 because it's a coward's way out. Demand a whole bunch of money that, the person never pay, and then you can blame the other person and say that they're scared because they wouldn't pay you £10,000 to have a stupid debate. These guys aren't even worth that. If their combined intelligence was dynamite, wouldn't have enough to even blow my nose.
Couldn't we? Oh right, yeah, you could. Yeah, but you might not want to. A lot of people don't want to talk to you, do they? They might talk to people who are, what's the word? I don't know.
Irrational.
Well, people who still live in the dream. You and me don't live in the dream, so you and me would be quite good to talk to people who do live in Madrid.
I mean, why is he drinking Coca-Cola water?
Well, he's like Scott Ritter, isn't he?
No, it's not good for him.
Absolutely, of course, Coca-Cola, yeah, it's not good for you at all. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he's still on it.
Yeah.
Old McToon's still on it. You know, they're supposed to have gone over Uniglassy camp a year ago.
Proof of the globe according to David.
Yeah.
But Dave,
Yeah.
this might prove the Earth is a ball.
Well, I wouldn't know. You don't know.
Well, you know, you can't just go on a flight. You can't take a flight, whether it's 10-hour flight, and you're proving the shape of the Earth just from that flight alone.
Oh, right,
You can't do it.
Yeah, I've got to admit.
Oh, Mr. Sensible.
Oh, Mr. Sensible. All right, Mr. Yeah, we've come up against him, haven't we, Mr. Sensible? Sure. I mean, it's quite good. It's quite good. You and I are in quite a good position because we don't get any shit from any of these people anymore.
No.
It's quite nice, you know, because we know these people are full of shit. We know all of them are full of shit. They hold on to their evidence so much. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Whereas we're looking for proof. We're not looking for evidence. And we make a distinction between evidence and proof.
Well, like we said before,
you know, we're not interested in. We're not interested.
So a lot of these blowheads, this is evidence that the surface of the water is curving.
Yeah, and evidence in our
because you can't see the bottom red line of this panel.
Well, the water surface isn't flat. It's not flat. It's got undulations in it. But is it curving, following the form of a sphere? No, it's not.
You can clearly see water beyond.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah. Now, this would support our view. This image is evidence of our view in that water has undulations, swells, and it's quite possible. The reason why you can't see the bottom of boats is simply because of a swell.
Yeah,
it's possible,
and it could well be that when you have boats going out to, when you're standing at a shoreline and you're looking at a boat going out into the sea, and then you see the bottom obscured by that, it could well be that the reason why that happens is because of the seabed and the way it goes. It's just the way the water behaves across how the water meets the land.
Yeah, because
in other words, what I'm saying is that the water meets the land. And then, as it goes further out,
you've got your
drop down.
It can drop down. You've got your
water's continually pushing the water.
You've got your meniscus.
Yeah, kind of a meniscus effect.
Of the shoreline.
The shoreline,
which raises the height of the water by I don't know,
a few, it could be feet or whatever. Or it could be more than that.
20 feet, 30 feet. Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Who studies this?
No, nobody's studying all this because a lot of people are thinking the Earth's this ball, and the water should just be curving over a ball. Yeah. But But anyway,
Hold on, do these two Muppets think that if the seabed has a shelf goes up, it's going to make the water level change as well, and the water is going to have a massive step? Did they really say that? Holy crap. These two are even dumber than I thought they were. Wow.
The 1 year on, and it's
haven't got anywhere.
It's clear 1 year on, the final observation, the final experiment has done jack shit. It hasn't really changed a lot of people's views about the shape of the Earth. If people think the Earth is a level plane like we do, we will continue to think that way because we experience a level plane.
Yeah.
We don't experience a globe Earth. We don't see curvature anywhere. We don't know that it's the Earth's shadow that's on the moon. Or something like that. We don't see that. We don't know that. We just see this dark patch. Covering up, during an eclipse.
Yeah, and there's so much information out there about that. We know that for every action there is an equal and opposite resistance to that action.
Sure. What's that got to do with it?
So there you have it. That's my nomination video for Peter and Pete for Top Left 2026. I do believe that these two really do deserve it, and I think they've earned it. They've worked really hard this year to achieve this level of incredulity and narcissism and delusional ideology. And I think they're going to work even harder in 2026 to get even further than this. There's way too much dirt on their channel for me to cover, but don't forget to vote for them. I do think that they truly are deserving. Check out my live streams, which I did a more deeper dive into some of their derps that they did. And hopefully maybe they will actually follow up on that, challenging MC Tune to a debate. But somehow, I doubt they will. I did actually comment on one of their videos when they mentioned this, and they have already deleted it. And they also commented on another comment I did on a video telling them about this nomination for Top Left, and they deleted that too. So, Yeah, it's obviously they say a lot of stuff, but they a lot of talk, no action. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to follow me for more. Subscribe to my channel. Remember, people, Earth's different than globe. Space is real. But don't forget, stay curious. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching.
Flat earthers are fucking nasty and stupid.
Yes, they are.
Our claims of Amazon Studio, being in Hollywood, them being in on it as showing how stupid flat earthers are. I don't even talk about you guys, man. Flat earthers are the worst.
Yes, they are.
They're the worst.